Okay, so let's talk about the financial C++. So I will focus on the C++ side. Why C++? C++ is the only language which we can optimize memory and performance. Then this is a feature of the C++. They have mainly the most of the reason why people are using, especially for the big company or many major project, why they are using C++ is because this is only the language which we can optimize performance, and also chase the best performance. And then of course, like if we consider about like the usage, like if we consider about the easy to use and then simple to learn, if we consider about that, this is not the language, but the C++ is still the high major language for many projects. So normally we have the PHP, Ruby, Python, Go, like that, right? So that many the blog or whatever news article they talk about that, but C++ is not like that, cannot be there because like it's sole language which we can optimize the detail of the memory, performance, anything like that. So that means like C++ engineer is still very precious resource, and then also the many performance critical projects are using C++. So the financial area, of course, they have to use the C++, bank, database, many things. So here is an example, like what project is using the C++. Chromium is using C++ a lot. They have like many the platform, Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, Android, everything they are using C++ bottom one. So this is because like they have to, because like browser, right? So the browser, they have to chase the best performance. MySQL also same, they are also using C++. That means like it's not only MySQL, most of the database stuff they are using C++. And also the MongoDB, that is NoSQL database, also using C++. Ubuntu, Linux, right? So that is also using, and the TensorFlow, this is a machine learning framework, they are also using C++. PyTorch is also same. And the Unreal Engine, this is IDE for the game, they are also using C++. Unity, they are also using C++. Blender, that is if we want to create the 3D object, then we have to use this Blender, and they're also using C++. And also the iOS, it's also Core, it's using the C++, and the Android, they're also using C++. Electron, they're also using Chrome OS. Yeah, so it's many projects they are using C++. Bitcoin is also using C++, and then yeah, so basically most of the major and the very critical project they are using C++. History of the C++, they started from 1719, then eventually, yeah, it's they added to the template or many things. Then eventually it's almost stopped around 1998. Then again they refined around 2011. Then they released the C++ 11. Then after that, every 3 years they keep updating the major, the minor and the major change. And then C++ 14, C++ 17, and C++ 20. That is the most latest version. So here is things. I will probably explain about some of the feature which they introduced from the C++ 11 and then till the C++ 20. And then okay, let's skip here. So the recap: C++ 11, 14, 17. Firstly, this is one of the things that they introduced, random function. They introduced a random function. Used to be like the random function was, it's always giving us like almost a fixed number, but now like this is a real random function. You need to use like include, you need to use the include random, and then it will give us that. And also the odd. This is it's like JavaScript, for example, bar x equal 5, like that. So the odd is it's inferent. They will just based on the given the number, this variable will be automatically give the some specific the type. So you don't have to specify the type beforehand. They will do that if we just write the odd. So very simple. If we try to so the many the source code wise it's much simpler, like the Python or the JavaScript. The loop is also improved. Like previously we have to write like for int I equals 0, I plus plus, blah blah blah, right? So but now they have like auto scores, and then it's very simple. Like this one is for each kind of things in the different language. And this is a lambda. This is one of the most important things they introduced in the C++11. They put the function inside of the another function. So we can call like this, like for example this case, the vector begin end, and then we are passing the function. Basically, like previously in the C++98, we have to make the function, and that we have to pass the function here. But we don't have to do that now because like we have the lambda here. Then lambda square bracket, and then int I n, and then return, and then this one is automatically do the calculation based on the given the number from the vector. And then this is the enum. Enum is we still used to have like enum, but that enum is almost same as integer. But now they have the strict to the class as a class. They redefine the enum as a class, and then this is we cannot make a mistake with the integer. Enum class team red white. This is the enum class. And also the array, like this the top one is what we used to see. Now they have like array container. So like from the container, we can utilize own function. And also the null pointer. And previously also we had null, capital null. So this one it's just a macro as a 0. They define 0 as in the macro, but they actually introduce a null PTR, which is a completely different things, which is definitely better because it's not 0. And also the move semantics. This one is another biggest change for the optimization reason. The reason is because like in C++ we have to consider about the memory, and in that memory, let's say like left side C++98 get vector. The get vector which will give us whole copy of the vector in this case, right? So the vector int and then get vector, that will give us a whole copy of the vector, which is very heavy, very expensive logic. But instead of doing that, then if we just pass the move semantics, which is just changing the pointer from when we try to move the vector from A to B, they are switching the pointer. That's it. So it's much simpler and much optimized. So that's why move semantics is also one of the best things happen in C++11. The smart pointer is also very important. Previously in C++98 we use new and we also use the delete. That means like we have to careful when we create the instance, when we delete the instance. that is all depends on the developer. Now, since they introduced a smart pointer, they don't have to call the delete. They once for example, in case of this, the p enemy is not used at all by anyone, they will release. So that is a smart pointer. And then this is another thing like transparent operator func. This one is improved in the C++ 14. Previously, let's say like left side, you can see 10, 50, 20, 30. That is vector, and then it's unassigned. When we create this one, but if somebody trying to change from the unassigned to the int, then if someone forget, okay, greater unsigned, there is the greater unsigned here, right? If someone forget to change this type, then what's gonna happen is, yeah, this is a mistake, right? So instead of doing that, they just remove this part. That means a transparent operator func. And the another thing is, this is the update standard func. Then previously, this one is minimum, max, all of them is inside with like mix here. But instead of doing that, C++ 11, they integrate everything into the one function here. Okay, so the next one is assert. So the assert is this is a assert, the static assert. They actually previously in the C++ 98, we have to have a definition of the macro, but now C++ 11, we don't have to do that. They will provide this static assert automatically. Okay, and more, we have more, many more things here. This is yeah, a lot of the standard function was updated. And then yeah, so this is a graph of like which one is more popular or which one is more used. And then tuple or unique PTR, shared PTR, basically like a smart pointer is very useful. And also the standard library is also updated, which is also very useful too. And then this is the C++ 20. So the C++ 20, they added like the new library which calls like numbers. Then what happened here is these numbers, they will it's like a numpy in the Python. They will give us these things introduced. They also the string, like this is a normal string library. They added the many more function. Like this one is end with, start with. They introduce these things. So we don't have to make our own function. Like previously, probably we have to check about the extension or something, but we don't have to do that. Contain, this one is yeah, it's like the Java we used to, like previously the left side, like top side, this is a table.find, and then not equal to the table.end. If this is not equal, then do this like that. But after this one is not so easy to see. Like if we are familiar with C++, then we used to see these things. But since they added a new function which is called like this table.contains, this contains, it's almost the same as Java. Once we found this one, then it will give us the boolean as a true. So yeah, like that. And this is a namespace. Namespace is previously yeah, so we have to have like a namespace for each one, which is very redundant. We have to make a lot of the sentence, but now we don't have to do that because like using here, once we just define as using the in image format, then we can skip the this part, the namespace part. And also remove the item from the container based on like the container, like the map or something else. Like based on that, each of the function are different. Now that from the C++20, everything is unified. Means like all of them we can just use like same way. Like yeah, so that is a good improvement. Bit manipulate function. So the bit, I'm not sure like how many people are using. Mostly I think most of the projects are using. They in the standard library they introduce this bit manipulation function. Then container function. Yeah. So this is also it's optimized, and also they actually unified. Substitute of the file and the line. Yes, this is a macro function. Macro. Previously, when we want to see the file name or line, then we have to use this underscore file underscore. But now we don't have to do that because like they produce the as a function. They improved the algo function. Algo function is also improved a lot. The top one is the previous one, the bottom one is the C++20, which is we used to give like v dot begin, like first pointer, end of the pointer, but we don't have to do that anymore. Range max and then v, that is a vector container. If we pass this one, then they will automatically do that. So we don't have to like begin and of course, like we kind of used to see the begin end things, but now it's not necessary to do that. Another thing is like initialize the variable in for, if, and then switch. So for example, like switch or for or if. Before we use like going through for the switch, before going through the switch, we have to define the variable. But that variable could be used after that, even after the switch. But that's also not necessary. Here is one of the example. For example, the for size t I equals 0, and then const auto s, and then this is a two sentence. So we can have like two sentences into this for loop. And then this size underscore I it's not used after this for loop. So this is a very it's confined the function which it's good for the scope. And then also this is the operator overloading. The operator overloading is a very, very troublesome things in the C++. But now we don't have to do that because like, they will do automatically if we write the one line here, auto operator stuff. And also the structure in it. This is the structure, and then structure inside the structure. Inside of a structure, they have like this definition, and then we have to have this definition, and then cannot use a const. But now that after the C++20, they added this the const structure, which is it's good. And then they also introduced a module, not the header or import things. That is it's kind of similar to the import. Like previously we used to use like a import header, but import header we have to consider about the order, which one is included first, which one is included later. But we don't have to consider about that if we introduce this module. The evaluate const expr. This one is, let's say, like the left top side. W squad, that is a function which if we want to, so the const expr is basically it depends on like when we want to, how we want to evaluate. This one is a compile time evaluation, or is after the compile time evaluation, runtime evaluation. Based on that, we want to differentiate. If we want to do that, C++20 they introduced the is const evaluated this function. So based on that, then they can differentiate how to behave. So this is for the optimization reason. And the standard library for the context part. This is also same reason, like so the optimization reason. So it means like many of the standard libraries, they start using this context part. The same reason as the previous one. They have like when we want to evaluate the value or function or anything in the compile time or runtime, many of the standard libraries start using this context part. So that is for the optimization reason. And also the string format, this is like it's almost the same as the other language, like we don't have to like plus or something like that. We just curly bracket, we can just write a curly bracket and then pass like 20, then C++ 20, we can just show like that. Then also optimization for the compiler, like this one is very unique in the C++, likely, unlikely. So if some function is most likely or unlikely to be used, we can just tell the compiler this won't happen much. So if that is the case, then we can just define that unlikely or likely. Then they will, the compiler will optimize automatically when they try to compile. The memory optimization, and this is another very good things about this. It's because if some class inside of a class or structure of the structure, that structure is stateless, it doesn't have any variable, then what's gonna happen is they don't reserve the memory. Previously, in the before 20 to C++ 20, they reserve the memory no matter what. But now after this, after the C++ 20, they will skip. So if we want to skip, then no unique address, we can just add address like that, then they will do that. CPO, this is a customization point object, which so the top one is all the way. So like using std swap, and then after we define this namespace, then eventually we can use a swap. But now we can just concatenate std range swap. We can make it simpler for the line. Okay, so this is the most of the things we just talk in the C++, and then which one is more popular? I think concept range, some of them is still not there completely yet. Module, but anyway, my point is C++ is still making many evolution, they're making many progress, and then it's improving and then optimizing. So there's no reason not to use C++, and then many of the project is already using. There's no reason not to use it. So that's it for today. I wanted to add more, but because I didn't have time to address, so maybe like next time I will do that. But financial C++ is essential. If you are staying in the financial area, you still need to learn. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming today. Yeah, thank you.